Hello, it's Monica from Crafting with Quilling Lady and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create a flag fancy fold card with no cutting dies. If you haven't tried this style yet, this video is for you. For my project, I'm going to use a free gift from Crafters Inspiration Issue 2 magazine. It has that bohemian vibe to it, so I thought it would be perfect for today's project. In the magazine, you got lots of beautiful projects and inspiration. Inside the magazine, exactly in the middle, you also have some design papers. However, they are super thin. So I decided to back them up on white card, 160 GSM. So I use my Collall glue and I spread it on the design paper and I left it to dry overnight. And this way, I've got some beautiful design papers that I can use for mats and layers for many projects. If you haven't tried this technique yet, I do encourage you to give it a go because it really makes a difference. And I also fussy cut some elements that you will see later on. In the magazine, you also get some beautiful cutting dies. However, today I haven't used them. Maybe in the future project. You also get some beautiful stamps you can color in with your pencils or alcohol markers and embossing folder. So, to create our project, we need a piece of white card, and this one is measuring 5 and 7/8 by 12 inches, and I'm going to score it exactly in half, which is 6 inches. When this is ready, we're going to fold and burnish the scoreline, and we're going to have the front and the back of the card. Super quick and simple so far, right? Then we need another piece of card, and I only had pearlescent card. So this one measures 5 and 7/8 by 15 and a half, and I'm going to score it at 4 inches, 5 1/4, 6 1/2, and 7 3/4. Then I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees, and again, I'm going to score it at 4 inches, 5 1/4, and 6 1/2. So this way I'm going to have the same rectangles on the left and on the right and 6 smaller rectangles in the middle. So now it will be time to fold and burnish our inside of the card to create that concertina look. And you can always use your bone folder to make your job easier. As you can see, you can also use other card. However, I haven't had it on hand. Maybe I need to get some A3 white card. If you do have some recommendations, please let me know in the comments down below. However, this card will work pretty well, and I'm going to hide that pearlescent look inside of the card so no one will see it. So as you can see, our concertina or flag fancy fold is ready. Now we can attach the panels together, and I'm only going to put the glue where the big rectangles are. And I'm going to line them up with the front and the back of the card. Super quick and simple, right? So if you haven't tried that flag fancy fold card, please give it a go. I'm pretty sure you'll like it and you can use whatever is in your stash. And if you do have any of the magazines with free design papers, use them because if you don't use them, they will just stay there forever. Now I'm going to burnish it a little bit just to make sure the glue is set before I move on to the next step. And as you can see, we do get some dimension with this card. I decided to start decorating the card with craft cardstock. And this one comes from Crafter's Companion. And I'm going to create two rectangles. And these will measure 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. Also decided to use some distress oxide ink in walnut stain color to distress the edges a little bit because I really like that look and I think that will work so well with that Bohemian collection. If you agree with me, please let me know in the comments down below. So as you can see, this card comes together super quickly. In total, it took me about 35 minutes to create. So, if you do have any design papers and you've never ever created that flag fancy fold card, please give it a go. Also wanted to tell you that this weekend I'm going to start my Christmas crafting, so stay tuned for all those videos. I've got 6 panels and they measure 1 inch by 5 3/4. And I'm going to use the same Distress Oxide ink, Walnut stain color, and I'm going to apply the color on all the edges. So when these are ready, I can assemble them inside of the card using my liquid glue because I do have time to maneuver the elements if I make a mistake. If you want, you can also put those panels before you attach that concertina panel inside of the card, and that will be perfectly fine. But as you can see, with all that cut, this project is going to be very dimensional. So I do encourage you to create a box for this card because later on I'm also going to decorate the front of a card with some double-sided foam adhesive. So I really like that brown and all the colors included in that Bohemian beautiful collection. So now it is time to burnish it, and I decided to use my bone folder as well because I really want all those edges to be attached properly. So when this is ready, we can move on to the next step. So here we're going to create the front of the panel. So I've got 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 craft card. And if you're interested in any of the products I use in today's video, you can check the description down below because I'll try to leave as many links as possible with no extra cost for you. So when this is ready, from the design papers, I chose that beautiful reddish orange. It is simply stunning. So this one will measure 5.5 by 5.5. And then I decided to create a smaller square, and this one is 4.5 by 4.5 inch. And using the same distress oxide ink, going to distress all the edges, just to make sure all the elements will match beautifully. From the green design paper, I'm going to cut a square measuring 4.25 by 4.25. So now it is time to put all those elements on our project, which is super simple to create. And I'm using my bookbinding glue, which is a liquid glue, and it gives me time to maneuver the elements. When this is ready, I decided to add some dimension to the green panel because I thought let's make this cut even more special. And from my stash, I decided to use some of the pretty old double-sided foam pads. And as you can see, I'm going to take some time to actually use them because as you can see, they are pretty small. At that moment, I didn't have any bigger ones. If you do have any recommendations for double-sided foam pads, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you do have bigger ones, let me know where do you get them from. I really need them at that moment. So, as you can see, I put all those small squares here, and I'm going to use my pokey tool to peel off the backing, which is super easy, especially if you have that many. That really saves you time. So as you can see, I'm trying to be as quick as possible. And whenever you use any double-sided foam adhesive, I do encourage you to put some liquid glue, then double-sided foam adhesive and liquid glue again. It will make a massive difference. Have you seen the Bohemian collection from Crafter's Companion? When I saw it for the first time, I was really interested. But I was waiting for that magazine because I really wanted to get the design papers included in it. And to be honest, I'm very happy with all the cutting dies, the embossing folder, and the design papers that were included. So I decided to share that project with you. So if you do have that Bohemian collection or that Crafters Inspiration magazine, what did you create? I'm really, really curious. Also, Fasika, that happy birthday element from the same collection. And again, I'm going to use some double-sided foam adhesive or extra dimension, and I think that really makes a difference. I'm pretty sure you can't really see it in the camera, but in real life, it really is beautiful. And all that color combo is simply stunning. So, if you do have that collection, please let me know. Many different projects have you created? So when this is ready, then we can move on to our next step. And you can decide if you want to embellish the front of the card a little bit more. But we still need to create the panels for the inside of the card. And I really like when all the elements match. So for the inside and the smaller rectangles, I created 7 panels using the same green card, and these measure 3/4 by 5.5 inch. And as you can see, you can put those elements flat, and then it is so much easier to assemble all the elements together. So again, we need 6 of those, and they measure 3/4 by 5.5. Super simple, right? And then to have even more contrast on the card, I decided to use that beautiful orange design paper, and I'm going to create 2 panels. And these will measure 3.5 by 5.5 inch. So again, you need 2 rectangles measuring 3.5 by 5.5 inch. And actually, these are all the elements, panels to create this flag fancy fold card. So as you can see, it is super simple. However, at this point, I decided to add some extra elements. So using the same craft card and distress oxide ink, I created 5 panels, and these measure 1.25 by 1.25 inch. And then with the leftover design paper, I'm going to cut squares measuring 1 inch. Super quick and simple. So I'm going to have 4 panels with that beautiful orange design paper and 1 with green for extra contrast. So when these are ready, I'm going to assemble them on that concertina panel inside. And to be honest, I was inspired by one of the projects in template library by Crafter's Companion, but I don't have it. So I thought I really want to create this kind of card, but I'm going to use my own measurements. And to be honest, I was very happy with the result because this card is beautiful and it measures 6 by 6 inches. And this one is my go-to whenever I create square or rectangle cards. So as you can see, all those panels are ready, and it's always a good idea to burnish it. And then I decided to use some other elements from that collection. So it wouldn't be me if I didn't use a butterfly. So here it is. I decided to have it at the front of a card, and then inside of the card, I really wanted to add a dream catcher and another butterfly, which I think works so well with that dream catcher, especially the color palette is simply stunning. So I'm just going to use my glue and assemble those panels together. You can always shape the wings for extra dimension. So the card is complete. What do you think about this? Would you like to give it a go? But now it is time to add some gems. I couldn't resist, and those gold gems in the corners really add that little bit of sparkle. And as you can see, we do have some dimension on the card. It opens beautifully, and you do have plenty of space to write your message on the back. So if you do give it a go, please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching and spending that time with me. Don't forget to like this video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel, because this Saturday and Sunday I'm going to have some Christmas projects for you. Have a wonderful day and happy crafting!